I mean, I figured we'd have a lot to say, frankly, as the two of our friends who are the most, let's say, conspiracy theory inclined, plugged into conspiracy.
Yeah.
I would say it's us.
Yeah.
And thank you for tuning in to Gay Space Rocks, an actual play. Wait, no. Finally did it.
It finally happened. It only took 11 episodes.
A Steven Universe watching podcast where we watch Steven Universe. I am your host, Brian. You can find me on the internet at RoomWarePod, and you can find the podcast also on the internet at Gay Space Pod. With me, as always, is my good co-host, August.
Hello, I'm August. I appreciate that you say that I'm your good co-host and not your terrible co-host. You can find me on the Twitters at Harpydora, and my pronouns are they, them.
It also implies there's a third host at the show. That
I mean, sometimes there are.
Oh no, then I've implied that they're all bad, though, which is not true. I've hoisted myself upon my own petard. We don't have a guest this week. We kind of messed up scheduling a little bit. But we will have a guest next episode. We just had to kind of rejigger those things. So, sorry about that misinformation 2 weeks in the past from this day. It's weird. Things change, huh? Time is a flat circle, I guess, or something.
Wow.
I don't know.
I mean, that's a relevant reference considering one of the episodes we're watching anyway, so...
That's true. Numbers have no meaning.
Oh my god.
August, have you watched any cartoons?
My mind is completely blank. Like, the past couple of weeks have been like a haze of horrific depression and getting readjusted to new depression meds. So I feel like I've watched something, but I'll be damned if I could tell you what it is.
That's fair. That happens. I continue to watch new DuckTales. It's good. The most recent episode as of this recording had young Della and Donald, and young Donald was like a Nirvana punk who kept singing songs about how much he hated Uncle Scrooge, and it was great.
That's fantastic.
Also, I wish technically this was later so I could go on a diet, like I could go on and on about on Friday Adventure Time Obsidian comes out, which is like the new Adventure Time special from HBO Max. Was it Distant Lands? That's what it's called. Because this is only the second one. The first one was BMO, which was good, but like, and I like BMO, and it was fine, but like, man, BMO, it was like 45 minutes long, and BMO ain't that much of a character.
Yeah, I mean, they're good, but...
This one is heavily focused on Marcy and PB, so
they're not like trying to walk back their relationship, right?
I can't imagine so, because Cartoon Network's / HBO Max's Twitters have been all like hard eyes bubbling, like all in their promo material.
Okay.
Oh, also the song that they're using for it is Gayer and Fuck. The song's really good. I think it's called Monster. It's sang by Olivia, Marceline's voice actress. I can't remember her name, Olivia something. But the song is very good.
That's
like
good.
It. Though I mean, it's one of those things where it's like now that the problem is the series, their big gay series have ended. And so all of the artists that used to work for them have talked about the process of it. And I know that Cartoon Network vehemently opposed literally everything the crew from Adventure Time and Rebecca Sugar wanted to do with their shows being queer. So it's like, oh, this marketing feels real fucking hollow now that you know that it will sell. Like not that I dislike the pairing of Bubbling and like I like Bubblegum and Marceline. They're a cute couple. Their evolution over those extremely slow burn over the course of the series, where we get a fucking Korasami sort of last minute reveal, is what it is. You know, they did what they could. And I understand this is not a mark on the arse, because obviously this is what they wanted for a long time in the show.
Yeah. There's a difference between queer baiting and showrunners doing the best they can against, like, the network higher-ups.
Yeah.
So.
But, I mean, it's one of those things where I've now seen this from artists, like, 3 fucking times, where it's like, the crew over Adventure Time really wanted this thing with Marceline and Bonnabelle, and then just reading like the book for Steven Universe, and Rebecca Sugar having to like just be like frankly the most stubborn I've ever seen, one being like, all right, this is just how the show is going to be, and if you fucking hate it, then you're going to cancel it, but this is just how the show is going to be by the time they hit the wedding. And then just like everything that went on with She-Ra and all the pushback and the way they kind of had to, you know, they had to design the thing where the thing was so fundamental to the show that when it happened, there was no way for the network to poo-poo it, because it was built into the DNA. They just they knew they could get it past all the straits in the boardroom.
Yeah. I just have to wonder what this means for like the marketing of the Adventure Time thing in China, because that's something that's always listed as a huge stumbling block for including queer content in a mainstream setting, is just like, oh, but what will happen in China? That's our biggest market. We'll lose so much money.
Well, they're not like, they don't kiss at all in this trailer. Now, given this is like a 45-minute episode, I don't know what the fuck actually happens on the episode. It hasn't come out yet. I'm not making any judgment. This is just based entirely on the marketing material. But it's not explicit about them being a couple in the trailer. So I guess they still have that plausible deniability, because you could easily edit out like Marcy and Peebs at the end of the last episode of Adventure Time. So who knows? Not this guy. I know. Have you ever seen the Russian censorship of Ruby?
I have heard of the Russian. Yes,
they
with
give
the
Ruby
mustache.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
Yep. But I am excited about that. That comes out Friday, so I'll probably watch that. Also, I've been watching The Mandalorian.
So. I have heard that The Mandalorian has made some choices that I am extremely gay for.
Yeah, Katie Sackhoff's here, baby.
Yes. Oh my god.
And I can't believe they got her back to they got Katie, like, them getting Katie Sackhoff, it makes sense. Katie Sackhoff ends up in every fucking sci-fi everything, any like long-running sci-fi series. Katie Sackhoff eventually ends up playing a part in it. But that they got her back, and they got her back to play Bo-Katan, the character that she voiced in the Clone Wars, blew my fucking mind. Also, Sasha Banks was there. Lesser point, she had like 4 lines, but she was there, so that was cool too.
Yeah.
It makes me sad because I had real hope that they had cast Sasha Banks as Sabine Wren from Rebels, who might also make an appearance in the show. But they name-dropped Ahsoka. That's why I thought, because at the, whatever. Spoiler for Rebels, whatever, fuck it. But Sabine Wren and Ahsoka are, like, together at the end of Rebels, like, hunting for Ezra. So, I was
together or together?
Just together as platonic friends, I believe.
Okay.
Though you cannot convince me after watching the cut season or the final season of the Clone Wars that was on Disney Plus that Ahsoka was not supposed to date that weird girl from Coruscant with the motorcycle. Like, that's the most flirty Ahsoka had been since that one boy. So.
Fair.
And she was no longer a Jedi at that point, so I could definitely see Ahsoka being like, you know what, I'm not a fucking Jedi anymore, I can do whatever I want. So. Good times. Star Wars doing good. Making that little baby eat a bunch of eggs. People got real bad about it, and I'm like, this is hilarious. I hate people. They're great. Did you see that tweet about Yoda being an apex predator?
Oh my god, yes.
All food chains lead to Yoda.
Jesus Christ.
Loved it. Alrighty. Well, I guess we should probably talk about our episodes this week.
We probably should.
Yep. This week we are covering episodes 31, 32, and 33, Keep Beach City Weird, Fusion Cuisine, and Garnet's Universe. First up this week is Keep Beach City Weird. I'm trying to look at like who wrote things. Mm-hmm. So this one was written by Raven Mullesy and Paul Villico, I believe. I believe that's how you pronounce those two names. The official synopsis. Steven gets caught up in Ronaldo's paranormal theories about the strange occurrences in Beach City. Yeah, sure. Synopsis. Pearl rushes out to the beach house one morning in response to Steven yelling, and she finds Steven is playing Steven Tag with Garnet and Amethyst. Steven Tag is basically when Steven tags one of the crystal gems, they must transform into Steven. Steven tags Pearl, but she does not want to play this game. Amethyst threatens to kick into a new, more extreme Steven Tag, and then Garnet just fucking destroys her into the beach.
It's so good.
Cut to Steven walking down the beach. He's singing a little song about how he's not good at Steven Tag, even though he is, in fact, the titular Steven of it. When Ronaldo is like, hold up, this is a top secret area and only people with the best clearance can get in. And there's like a whole bunch of holes in the wall of the cliff face. And Steven's like, oh my god, I need clearance. He's like, yes, you do. He's like, can I have clearance? He's like, yes, you can. And then puts Steven in some kind of protective gear of sandwich bags over his hands and his feet. Ronaldo goes on to talk about the wall and a series of other weird occurrences in Beach City, like rocks springing up through the ground, flowers on things. I'm trying to remember. There was one more.
No, there was the hole in the wall, the holes in the cliff face. There was the rocks, and there were the flowers, and that was. Yeah,
I guess that was it. Yeah. Okay. While he's doing this, Petey comes up and he's like, "Hey, man, Dad needs you at the shop." And Ronaldo's like, "I'm saving the world here, bruh. Cover for me." And Petey's like, "Oh my god, okay, whatever." So Steven, very enamored by this, is taken to be shown the air quotes truth by Ronaldo. He takes him up to the top of the lighthouse where he reveals his titular conspiracy board with, the strings and the bits of newspaper and everything, with a big snake in the middle of it, where Ronaldo basically goes on to say that multidimensional snake people, or Sneeple, have taken over the world and are puppeting the government. It's a conspiracy theory. You guys know what that is. Steven, freaked out by this, rushes back to tell the Gems about this conspiracy theory, where the Gems are like, wait, we did literally all of those things. All of those things are us. And Steven's like, oh my god, all of those things are us. We're the weird thing in Beach City. And they're like, yeah, duh. Look at us. Steven goes outside to tell Ronaldo about his discovery that he is in fact the cause of all the weirdness in Beach City. Ronaldo is taking the casting of the crater left by Amethyst in the beach. Steven's like, listen, Ronaldo, me and the gems, we did all the weird stuff. And he's like, that can't possibly be true. If that's true, then the world is indifferent and cruel to my existence. And that can't be right. I'm important. He's like, listen, this will reveal the true face of the conspiracy. He pulls up the mold and it's in fact Steven, because Amethyst was Steven. Ronaldo is heartbroken because the world does not in fact revolve around him in any way, shape, or form. And he goes off. Steven, feeling bad about basically destroying Ronaldo's entire sense of self, is like, it comes up with an idea and goes off to save Ronaldo. Idea is basically Steven dressing up as a Sneeple, Snursen, to intimidate Ronaldo. He comes upon Ronaldo and Petey. Ronaldo, who's very depressed, behind the fry shack. Ronaldo is like, oh my god, a snake person, and then just knocks Steven the fuck out with a potato somehow. Back at the lighthouse, Ronaldo has gone full fucking creeper mode, is going to interrogate the Snursen. Petey is freaking out. Ronaldo is also kind of having a little bit of a freak out, and the gym show up, and they're like, hey, listen, we know you kidnapped Steven. We're gonna fucking murder you. Ronaldo is wearing chest armor, I think, is what that's supposed to be. He's wearing a breastplate of some kind, engages the gyms in battle. Finally, Steven escapes, explaining to Ronaldo, hey, listen, you fucking loser. All of these things are not real. You need to get with the fucking program. Ronaldo is having a bit of a breakdown. Petey, seeing that his brother's having a hard time, tries to get him kind of like back into the game by picking up all of his papers and kind of finding a new conspiracy, wherein Ronaldo discovers that the true conspiracy are polymorphic sentient rocks, and that the Diamond Authority is going to come and hollow out the Earth. The Gyms and Steven and Petey leave, and they're like, is he gonna be okay? And Petey's like, sure, he'll be fine. And then Ronaldo screams about seeing the truth on his blog, Star Wipe the End. So,
ooh boy.
Ooh boy indeed. I have my notes, I have like 1, 2, 3 notes before I'm like, you know what, this is just going to be a long talk, isn't it? Is what I wrote in my notes. And then after that, I wrote, check out the Tumblr. So let's, before we get to Ronaldo, let's get some baseline notes out of the way. Steven Tag, great game.
Garnet, it's so cute. Garnet's participating.
Yeah. Way later in Steven Universe Future, we also get to see what Pearl Steven looks like.
What?
Actually, we get to see a lot of other kinds of Stevens. They're all introduced with like a Smash Brothers joined the fight animation.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute.
It is. It's pretty great. Also, oh yeah, go on.
Garnet destroying Amethyst.
That's what I literally wrote. Garnet just destroying motherfuckers.
I wrote Jesus Christ, Garnet, but oh my god, Garnet just fucking spiking Amethyst into the beach again. This isn't even the first time this has happened.
No, it's not. She just beats I guess I don't know if the gyms can feel it seems to be they're very wishy-washy on whether the gyms feel pain or not.
Yeah.
Or maybe Amethyst just doesn't care. But it's always fun to just see Amethyst or Garnet just fucking throw Amethyst somewhere.
Oh my god, yeah, it's very good. I really enjoy the cadence of their relationship. It's mwah. It's so good.
Mm-hmm. Wearing sandwich bags to protect you from the outside world is a 2020 look.
Oh god, yeah, it is. Jesus. Oh god.
And that's basically where my notes end.
I'm trying to see. The only thing that's not necessarily related to Ronaldo and Steven's interactions with Ronaldo that I have is about Pearl and her little monologue there.
Oh yeah, that was also. It's interesting. I was gonna kind of wrap that into like the long discussion, because like the show obviously understands that Ronaldo's behavior is bad. I think. I mean, you don't write that monologue without realizing conspiracy theories are not good.
Yeah, but
I don't think they take them seriously necessarily.
Yeah, mm-hmm. It's the way that they get treated that leads me. Okay, we'll get there. We'll get there. Mm-hmm. So actually, no. So my next note after Jesus Christ Garnet is, oh no, this conspiracy stuff is not great in this day and age.
No.
Oh my god. Okay, so like there've always been conspiracy theorists, and many of them have been domestic terrorists and cultists, but I don't think, and this is something that, you know, I've just been listening to a couple of different podcasts about like Scientology and QAnon, mm-hmm. and it's just like in this particular cultural moment, like conspiracy theorists have not had as much sway as they do right now,
right,
in very real and very frightening ways.
Like, this is obviously an episode that happens before QAnon, before Pizzagate, before the year 2020 in general, or before the presidency of Donald Trump.
Yeah, but I mean, like, some of the stuff that, like, went into creating these things were already pieces on the board. Like, right. You still had, like, 2chan and 4chan. I don't remember when 8chan hit the scene, but I'm pretty sure 8chan was there. You already had, like, the /POL board, /B, that kind of thing. Like,
right.
But yeah, just all the pieces were there.
1 year before this, like, almost to the day.
Yeah, and that's because 4chan kicked most of the pedos out, so they needed somewhere to go. Anyway, I mean, it's definitely a pre 2016 thing, mm-hmm. but that doesn't mean that the ingredients weren't already there swirling around in the pot.
It's true, but the knowledge of what these sort of forces were capable of was not nearly as, like, mainstream or in the public consciousness either. Because, like, true. I think it's about this time where, like, Anonymous is just, like, black boxing, or, like black faxing all of the fucking, like, the Scientology headquarters or something like that, right? Is that about the mm-hmm. time that Anon, like, decided, yes, we hate Scientology this week?
Yeah, I think so.
And, like, I know, so I remember that getting some press, but I don't think it got, like, I don't think the idea of that, like, that became the kind of, I guess, the coming out party, I think, for, like, Anonymous and, like, the mainstream views when they took on something more mainstream than them.
Yeah.
But I don't think, even then, I mean, as a person who is very much, like, aware of all of these things happening on the, like, shithole parts of the internet, I don't necessarily, I would have been, like, thinking that these conceptualizations of, like, building these conspiracies would be weaponized to the degree that they have been in like, after the 2016 election.
Yeah. No, you're right on that.
Like, the idea that there are, like, big brick buildings in Russia that are essentially, like, right-wing meme factories, would sound like something I made up as a joke in 2014.
Oof. Oof. I mean, it still sounds like so much conspiracy theory word salad, but the bullshit part of living in, like, the world we do today is it's true. And that's the stupid part. That is so frustrating. Like, we should not be able to say that there are brick and mortar Russian meme content farms that are fueling the alt-right and, like, have that be true. That's so stupid. I hate this.
The thing is, it's just like an evolution of like the things that are happening here are the people who the people that Ronaldo is designed to make fun of, because those people did exist, like people who believed that, like, because there are I do want to say that it's pretty funny for a show with a showrunner who is definitely a Jewish person doing a reptilian conspiracy theory.
Yeah, if I did not know that Rebecca Sugar were Jewish and just trying to take the piss out of lizard people, I would have been deeply uncomfortable with the Sneeple thing.
Right, but the fact that it adds a decided layer of humor if you know what's actually going on.
Yes. Yes.
Also, Sneeple is just, after this episode came out, Sneeple was a word that, like, we all, like, me and my ex used all the time about shit. We talked about the snakes all the time.
God. Sneeple is such a good meme, though.
It's
like,
true.
It's so good. But yeah, it's just, oh my God, this does not... And this is something that, like, Shannon kind of brought up in the Discord, and it was something that I'd already been planning on talking about because of just the way that, like, our culture as the audience changes, even though the piece of media remains the same, and so that changes completely how the piece of media lands. And this is one of those things where it's like, it does not land very well in this day and age at all.
No.
Like, I can see it several years ago being really funny and cute, but right now it's just like, oh no, this is really, really uncomfortable.
Right. And it's interesting because it's not necessarily... I guess the thing is to understand to people who are listening to the show who don't follow the weird psyops parts of the alt-right, they're not even the alt-right. So around 2015, 2016, primarily centered around the presidential election in the United States, though it was happening before this, that was sort of the perfect storm of shit. Like, the right-wing agitators that exist in places like 4chan and 8chan and 2chan, and on a various number of private Discord servers, and also in Russian psyops groups, like, figured out how to weaponize... Not even propaganda, like, not to weaponize propaganda, to weaponize the idea of a meme, and turn that into basically the biggest psyops program I think the West has ever seen.
Yeah.
And that makes me sound like I've put on my tinfoil hat. But that is what happened. There was a fucking congressional investigation about this.
Yeah, and it's like, it's actually very interesting. I have a friend who deals a lot with, like, philosophy and technology, and, like, the intersection of those and ethics and the concept of magic, and, like, the way that memes got weaponized bears a large resemblance to the modern day practice of chaos magic, as appropriative as chaos magic can be. It still has a lot of parallels there with the way that the symbols of the meme language were appropriated and turned into a means of recruitment. And it's absolutely fascinating. And
well, it also
like,
it looks the way that the alt-right approaches its recruitment through like being young and hip, being very technologically savvy, knowing how to like use media and pop culture to twist at underlying tensions inside of things. It feels like it's pulled out of straight up fucking the CIA's playbook from the goddamn 70s.
The reason for that is because
it's the same playbook.
Because it is.
Yeah.
Like, that is literally the basis for a lot of this.
Right, exactly. It's this, but it is just like watching the biggest coup get pulled off, like by fuckers on 4chan.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Probably better than the CIA did it, frankly.
Whew. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, like the whole point is like this is
not an episode like that gets made now.
No.
And like it hits in a way different way because like now unfortunately I liked Ronaldo as a character. Ronaldo is a character who is kind of shitty and never honestly gets better, but is funny in his shittiness, right? But now I can't think of Ronaldo without thinking of Ronaldo posting like racist memes on 4chan on poll. Like they've ruined Ronaldo for me.
Yeah, it's bad.
Like Ronaldo is jerking off to anime titties and talking about like the master race on 4chan, and that's all he does now.
Yeah, and I mean like, just like the whole don't get hung up on facts. It's like that's like a really real legitimate argument that people will use to cling to their ideology.
Have used in the last 2 months of my life on national television.
Yeah. And it's like people still used them back then, but it was a less mainstream thing to see, and now it's just like it's all over the place. And like there are so many contributing factors, like the concept of a deep fake does not help. The way that the idea of fake news has been propagated does not help.
Right.
And I would in fact say that like the ways that those things have been used are explicitly meant to make it easier for people to be able to say, don't get hung up on the facts. But it's just, oh my God, this isn't good.
I do wonder if you do this episode now, somehow a producer or a showrunner or somebody greenlights it. I guess probably because they've stapled their hand to the desk and they're in too much pain to realize what's coming across it. Because I feel like that's the only way that you get this greenlit today. I wonder if you rejigger the episode, or if you rejigger kind of the conceit of it, as opposed to like Ronaldo being this kind of lone conspiratorial figure. There is some sort of like figure Ronaldo is following, like a person pulling the strings who is obviously lying for their own gain, which is what a vast majority of these conspiracies are just grifts. If you look at the president of the United States, who is currently doing a pretend coup to get money from his followers to pay off massive debts that his campaign had.
I do not want to say it's a pretend coup, because that is not giving enough credit to not necessarily the ringleader, but the people who are on the ground.
True.
Like, I do not want to underestimate anything that's going on politically right now.
That's fair. But a lot of it's a grift. It's always been a grift. Like, you get the power so you can get money and fame in the power. Like, the people at the top of this thing don't fucking believe the shit they say. They'll just say anything to keep the thing going.
Yeah. And I mean, you can see that right now with just like the latest Q drops too. It's just
like it is. I mean, it is to the point where a lot, like, looking at the latest Q drops and people being in the threads being like, this is like, now you're getting desperate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when the assholes on 4chan are calling you out.
Yeah. I did write, please don't encourage Ronaldo. We don't want RAnon.
Oh my god, that's the most cursed thing, and I might make it the episode of the title of the episode.
God damn it.
I'm glad you got to learn exactly how exactly what kind of shit August and I like to follow on the internet recreationally.
Yeah.
Listener. But, welcome to Brian and August taking the mask off and showing what their real politics are.
Yeah. But circling back around, though, this is a really good...
We might be the first Steven Universe podcast to get investigated by the CIA.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, jeez. This is a good time to circle back around to Pearl's point, because you're right. Like, the fact that Pearl makes the point about, like, the reason people get into conspiracy theories is to feel like they have some sort of control over something that is inherently uncontrollable, or to have some sort of insight into things that are inherently unpredictable. You know, the show understands what causes people to cling to conspiracy theories.
Right.
But the way that it's framed is also very dismissive, and I think if you were to make this episode now,
you don't have that level of dismiss. Like, I don't think this episode ends with with everybody just kind of placating Ronaldo again.
Yes. That's absolutely the thing that sat the worst with me, is not, you know, it sucks that Ronaldo, like, had his heart broken, but you cannot foster that kind of toxicity because it will come back and bite you.
Right, exactly. Like, fucking, today, Ronaldo believes that Sneeple are real. 3 years from now, Ronaldo is wearing a fucking Hawaiian shirt with a tack vest over it.
And storming fish stew pizza.
Mm-hmm. I feel like Kofi could take him.
I feel like Nanafwa could take him. Yeah.
Listen, I cannot not believe that Nanafwa has not done and seen some shit.
She absolutely has. Like, you hear those stories on, like, the internet about, like, you know, old ladies in nursing homes talking to people who come in and being like, oh yeah, I killed my husband in 42. You'll never find the body. That's Nanafwa.
Yeah, that's Nanafwa. Nanafwa is the lady who, like, runs a bodega, and you come in, you pull a gun in her face, and she's like, what the fuck is wrong with you, child?
That's not a gun. This is a gun.
Yeah, she just pulls out a bigger gun.
Yeah. I love her.
She's great. Oh, I almost spoiled the thing that's great about Nanofwa later in the series.
Thank you for not spoiling it.
All right.
So what was that about a less than an hour recording, Brian?
I mean, we could probably still get through it. Oh god, I didn't realize we'd already gone 45 minutes!
An hour? Wow.
Oh, the old two things. Apparently, I'm gonna have to add another thing to the list. So, Pearl's trauma, Amethyst and Pearl's relationship, Sadie and Lars, conspiracy theories. Those are our 4 talking points from now on.
Yep.
All right. I probably need to take the tinfoil hat off. It's interfering with my signal. So, do you have anything left with this episode?
No, that was I mean, I had, like, bullet points, but ultimately, like, it just contributed to that discussion that we had. Like, it all comes down to this episode could not be made today.
No, it could not be. And I honestly, I don't hold it against the writers of this episode because
No.
the way the world curved in that sense, I don't think anyone could have made that prediction. Now, given even then, it was probably not a great idea to like paint people exhibiting this behavior as air quotes harmless, because even then they were not harmless. We had examples, but never examples as egregious or as in your face and laid plain as they are now.
Yeah.
Also, on a lighter note, there is a Keep Beach City Weird blog. Dear listener, it's keepbeachcityweird.tumblr.com, and this is a real official blog ran by the show. Also, we found out that Ronaldo uses Bitcoin, which makes sense, frankly.
Yeah.
Man, if fucking Ronaldo was
Especially-
using Bitcoin in 2014, he would be doing pretty okay now, frankly.
Oof. Yep.
So
Plenty of money to buy those body pillows.
hell yeah. How I think at some point we see that Ronaldo has a vinyl statue of Koala Princess.
Oh boy.
Oh, by the way, there's an image of Koala Princess that's on this blog.
Oh my god.
It is great. I'm gonna send it to you right now.
Okay.
Because Koala Princess is a thing he talks about regularly on this show. Because this is like a favorite anime.
Oh my god.
The Crooniverse knows what they're doing.
Yeah. That is just, oh my god, the Moe princess character.
But yeah, it's a cute little Tumblr to read through. Be careful going there because there's spoilers if you haven't seen the rest of the show.
Yeah, that's why I haven't looked at it.
Yeah, I could send you just a link to the page 1 of the show, of the blog.
Yeah.
So, because like it started slightly before this episode came out.
Mhm.
I think it started the first time Ronaldo mentioned the thing on the actual show. But anyways, apparently he did not like Dogcopter 3.
Rude.
I know, right? He seems like the kind of person who would complain about not being like the book.
Yeah.
So Ronaldo's canceled. I guess that's what we figured out.
Yeah.
Things we've canceled. Ronaldo is the only one. All right. Moving on to the next episode. Episode 32, Fusion Cuisine. It was written by Lamar Adams and storyboarded by Helen Joe. Let's see. Official synopsis. In an effort to win over Connie's parents, Steven convinces the Jims to fuse together to pretend to be his mother. Yeah, okay. That's fair.
Yeah.
Episode starts out with Steven and Connie. They're watching their favorite show, Under the Knife. Connie exclaims about how much she loves this show and thanks Steven for letting her come over and watch it. Steven asks, why does Connie have to come over to watch it? And Connie says that her mom doesn't like her to watch the show because it doesn't represent a real emergency room. Just then her mom calls. Connie is kind of talking to her mother, explaining to where she is, and then Connie's mom asks to speak to Steven's mom. Steven's like, oh, that's going to be hard, what with my mom transforming into me? And Connie's like, I can't tell that to my mom! So they run downstairs where Garnet is sitting, and they ask Garnet to pretend to be Steven's mom. Garnet picks up the phone, tells Connie's mother that the children are playing swords. No, wait, they're playing with swords. Oh God, one of them's bleeding. They're dead. Goodbye, don't call back. Garnet panicked, she says, and hands the phone back to Connie. The look on Connie and Steven's faces pretty much tells you exactly how they feel about the situation. The next day, Connie and Steven are talking on the phone, and Connie is going to miss the mid-season pre-finale of Under the Knife because her mother is upset at Steven's air quote mother and won't let her come back over until they meet Steven's parents. Steven's like, well, I guess I'll just make a reservation at Fish Stew Pizza for the Jims and my dad. Connie's like, you can't do that. I told my mom that you had like a kind of like a regular nuclear family of like a mother, a father, and one and or more children. And Steven's like, but that's not true. She's like, Steven, we have to do this. Otherwise my mom won't ever let me see you again. So Steven, I guess, tells this to the Jims and Greg, who Greg puts on a turtleneck, but with his cutoff shorts. Peak look. And Steven goes through listing the qualities of the Jims, determining which one of them will be mom. Mom, the mom, Mr. Mom of them all. And goes through and he lists the qualities. None of them are quite perfect, but then Steven realizes after Greg says put a line about putting their heads together that the Jims can in fact fuse together. The Jims are resistant to this at the beginning, but then Steven basically pouts and puts on puppy dog eyes and they crumble immediately. So at the dinner, Connie's parents are sitting there. They're very upset because Greg and Steven and a special guest are 20 minutes late, and then thundering into scene comes Greg and Steven riding on Alexandrite, the fusion between all three Jims' shoulders. Alexandrite is like 20 feet tall, probably taller. She's like 40 feet tall. She's got 6 arms, 2 mouths, sunglasses. She's a big old lady. And Connie's parents are like, holy shit, what the fuck is this? And Greg's like, haha, this is me and my wife. So dinner is weird. Connie's parents keep trying to ask details about Greg and his air quotes wife. Steven keeps butting in with more fantastical things while Connie's like, oh my god, Steven, shut the fuck up for like 4 seconds. Finally, after Alexandrite makes a comment about how much she hates doctors to Dr. Maheshwaran, Connie's like, I need to be excused. Steven, show me where the bathroom is. And they kind of skip off. Connie's like, oh my god, this is going terrible. And Steven's like, I don't know, I think it's going pretty good. Connie is getting upset when Steven she's like, we have to convince my parents of this. Steven at this point realizes that Connie's still wearing her glasses. And accuses Connie of lying to her parents because she's ashamed of her relationship and of Steven. She's like, no, forget about it, and kind of storms back out there where Connie tries to salvage the lie. During this, Alexandrite tries to eat a shrimp, but because of Pearl's aversion to food, it becomes this whole struggle until Steven assures Alexandrite that she does not have to eat. But the damage to the fusion is done as the Jims kind of come apart. There is a lot of shit at this point going down. All of the Jims are yelling and bickering at each other. Connie's parents have realized that the jig is up. And Connie's mother is very harsh to Connie, which causes Connie to become upset and run away. Steven runs after her. They're standing at the edge of the road, and Connie's like, I'm not ashamed of you. I'm just afraid if I told my mom the truth that she wouldn't let me hang out with you. And Steven's like, I just wish there was a way we didn't have to deal with this. And Connie's like, why don't we run away? And then conveniently a bus pulls up at that exact moment, and they get on the bus and drive the fuck away. While on the bus.
Like you do.
Yeah, exactly. When you're fucking, 13 and 12. They are on the bus talking about how I guess they're going to live on their own. Steven's very all about apples. Connie asks about it, and then they realize they're being chased by Alexandrite. Alexandrite's very mad that Steven ran away. picks up the bus and is like, come out of there this instant, young man. And he's like, I can't, you're holding the bus up. Fast forward to Connie's parents yelling at Connie, and then the Jims yelling at Steven, being like, hey, you can't do that. That's not okay. What if you got hurt? What if you ran into the cops? You could have gotten in really, like, shit could have gone really, really bad. And they punish Steven, initially taking away his privileges to food for 1,000 years. Pearl, realizing that Steven needs food to live, is like, no, we're just going to take away your TV privileges for 1,000 years. Steven is very upset, but Connie's parents realize in this that the Jims are in fact responsible parents and do allow Connie to continue hanging out with Steven. Steven hugs Connie. He's so happy. Connie's dad is like, get apart, you two. Star wipe, the end. So.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy, again. Okay, first off, note one. Cute. Connie and Steven continue to be the cutest.
Yes, I love how much of a fangirl Connie is, and she's just, like, so unashamed of liking things.
Right? And there's, like, the little animation of her just, like, yelling into the bed, which is, like, just a thing that I've definitely done, like, because I'm excited about the thing. Like, their ability to do these interesting little things with their animation of giving these very realistic, very relatable actions to characters who are decidedly not drawn realistically, you know? But it makes them endearing and relatable, and I really enjoy it. Hold on a second, I'm unspoiling about 1,000 things so I can keep them in my head here. Also, this brought back visceral like kid vibes of me watching ER. Because about this age, I watched a lot of ER. Which is really weird.
I remember that. I remember ER. I remember my parents really liked Chicago Hope, too.
See, I watched ER on reruns on TNT. And I think I've seen every episode of ER. And it's just like... Yeah, I may have seen every episode of ER now that I think about it. It's one of those weird shows that I've probably seen every episode of. My brother and I just watched the holy shit out of ER. In retrospect, I may have liked ER so much because it had, like, the two shows that I latched onto at that age that were on constant reruns were Buffy the Vampire Slayer and ER, both of which had gays on them. So, you know, there's that, I guess. Also, one had George Clooney, which was probably good at the time. Like, young George Clooney. So that was good. But yeah, it's just weird that, like, weird medical soap opera is the thing that these kids are watching, you know?
Yeah.
It makes me feel as though the people of the Crooniverse had roughly a similar child experience as I did.
Yeah, I mean, that would track, I think.
Yeah, because we've got to be about the same age.
Yeah.
So just that was just like brought back some visceral watching reruns on television vibes.
Yeah. My next goat. Next goat. My next note. I don't know.
Is that what you guys call bullet points over on Equestria Gaze?
Jesus.
It is now.
My next note is I fucking love Garnet. The way that Garnet panics is fantastic.
It is really good. I had a couple of notes before that. Why does Connie have a fucking flip phone? It's because her parents are the bad are like the mean parents, and obviously she would have a flip phone, right? They're not bad. They're mean in this particular scene. We get more of like as Connie's parents become more on screen, obviously they become more nuanced because that's how this show does things. But obviously,
I mean, right now, based on this episode, it's because they're controlling.
Yes,
but
that is
you know,
that is decidedly a thing. But it becomes addressed eventually in the show. And I wrote here, in Connie voice, oh, Steven's parents? They're, they're gay. Anyways, yes, Garnet's panic is fucking the best.
Yes.
Estelle is so good.
She is the best, and I love her. I love the way that Garnet's just, like, very calmly and collectedly saying, I panicked.
Oh no, the children, they're dead. Don't ever call back.
Yeah. So good.
So I had a weird nitpick at the end of that scene. What the fuck was that weird, very cartoony sound effect? You know what I'm talking about?
I don't remember.
So when Garnet's like, I'm sorry, I panicked, and hands the phone back to Steve and Connie, there's like a womp womp sort of like sound effect. And it was super weird to me.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Okay.
But
it may just have stuck out just to me. Because I watched it. This is like the third time I watched the episode, because I watched them a billion times in a row. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that, like, it isn't there or weird. I just didn't notice
That's
it.
fair. But what were you going to say?
Doesn't Connie go on to, like, start sword fighting?
Yes.
Later?
Yes, she does.
She doesn't. Well, okay. Based on the fact that you've told me that, like, she does stuff in Steven Universe Future, I'm assuming that she does not die while sword fighting.
No, the show's not going to murder a child, August.
Yet.
Well, they're not going to murder Connie.
Okay. That actually makes me feel worse, because now I know they are going to murder a child.
I don't know if the person who dies is legally a child.
That's even Brian.
So just sit with that for actual years until we get to it.
Jesus Christ, Brian.
Actually, we should start blazing through seasons once we get out of this season, because all the seasons are way shorter. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's only going to be like 8 to 9 episodes per season after we get out of this one. How weird is that going to be?
Wow.
What the fuck kind of cake is Steven making?
Well, actually, wait.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yes.
Connie, why are you lying about the nuclear family thing? Like, there are plenty of valid family configurations that are not weird and, appear in different cultures. So it's like, why did you automatically go to a nuclear family for this?
It's interesting, like, because it decidedly paints Connie's parents as like very obviously they're controlling and far more conservative than the parental units that we've seen so far in the Jims and Greg. Yeah. Now, given you could tell the Jims a family is anything and they'll believe you because they don't understand humans, but you could say a family was any sort of setup to Greg, who does know what human families typically look like, and he'll be like, cool, chill, whatever. Greg doesn't care. Greg fucked a rock. He doesn't give a shit anymore.
Well, I'm not even talking about like, a bunch of people found family style thing. I'm just talking about like there are in cultures that are not like, white European, North American style cultures, like it's completely reasonable for a family unit to be things other than just 2 spouses and potential children.
Right.
Like, it's reasonable for extended family to live with you. And like, why is it so shameful that Steven's mom is dead?
Yeah, exactly. Like, everybody in Beach City knows that Steven's mom is dead, No one cares.
Yeah.
Like, we never see anyone in Beach City be like, oh, poor Steven. They're like, well, this kid's doing well enough, we guess. He never goes to
He's
school,
not
but
dead
maybe
yet.
none of the other children do. Who knows? This is Beach City. It's anarchy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think I think it's more to inform us about Connie's parents, or what Connie's perception of her parents are, Because
Yeah.
I honestly don't think, like, if she had told her parents, like, oh, Steven lives with his aunts and his dad, right? Like, I understand Connie not being like, Steven is half an alien, lives with 3 alien lesbians and his fucking burnout dad, right?
Yeah.
But being like Steven's aunts and his dad, no one's gonna be weirded out by that. Like, they'll be like, oh, what happened to his mom? Oh, she died. Oh, well, that's sad.
Yeah.
Then they're not gonna bring it up at fucking dinner because no one does that. But I think it's more of that, like, that fear you have as a kid of, like, if this, because your parents have already shown, obviously Connie's parents have probably previously shown an aversion to things that are, air quote, different or outside of the norm. Connie has a regimented schedule, goes to tennis practice, violin practice, is expected to probably make straight A's in her classes, does a lot of study, that sort of thing, right? And Steven represents all of the fun and interesting and, like, actually enriching parts of her life right now, which she feels that her parents look down upon. And so she molded Steven's family to match what she thinks her parents would be most amiable to. Which is not right. And I don't necessarily think that the Maheshwarns would, if explained Steven's family situation, would be, like, counter to it. But that's what Connie thinks of as having parents who are like that,
Mm-hmm.
As a person who lied a lot to his mom, like, I know where Connie's logic is here. Is her logic correct? No, but she's also fucking 12,
Yeah.
Like, sometimes you lie to your parents when you think that they're going to react to because your parents have reacted to so many small things, when something big happens that is even remotely outside of the norm, you become scared that they're going to react poorly to it, even if it's not that big a deal, because they've reacted to things that aren't big deals before.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Connie's lie. People don't lie to their parents when they trust their parents. Exhibit A, Connie and Maheshwaran. Exhibit B, Steven Universe. Because Steven doesn't understand lying to his parents at all. This boy don't know.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that cake that Steven's making?
I don't know. Maybe Steven's making a cheesecake and thinks that cheesecake involves putting cheese puffs on a cake.
Does it now? Do we have to do that now? Hey, Babish, Binging with Babish, who I know listens to this podcast, whose name is not Binging with Babish, Andrew Ray, Sola, both of you.
Oh my God.
You're together, you're on this, not together, you know what I mean, you guys are business partners now. And I obviously, Andrew's playing this while you guys are filming shows. Hi, they're big fans. Everybody, we know it's fine. We're gonna keep it on low. Make this Steven Universe cheesecake, Andrew. You coward.
Jesus Christ, Brian.
It could be. You know what?
my
It could
God.
be good because, like,
I don't know.
cheese
It
puffs
depends
are-
on the frosting you use.
Right. But you use like a cream cheese frosting with a little bit of an orange tint, but like it's like not like just a cream cheese frosting, like one that has like a solid tang to it, like a cheesecake. And then you put cheese puffs on it for some reason, which I don't think would be that offensive to the cake.
Yeah, I don't think it would be terrible. I don't think it would be great, but I don't think it would be terrible.
If you go to our, like, if you want to give us money, I'll make this cake and we'll eat it. But only for money.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I would just make a normal cake. And by I'll make this cake, I'll get Anya to make this cake. Because Anya can bake and I can't.
They sure can. My next note was, "Aw, Steven thinks they're all cool. What a good boy."
It's true. My note was like, Steven doesn't know what lying to his parents is even a little bit.
He loves all of his parents, and he thinks that they're all
They're
great,
so good.
And that's so
I'm
wholesome.
sorry. My next note here is stop the show. It's time to rank the moms. I'm glad that Steven went through and basically ranked them in the same way that we would.
Yeah, although, like, I do find it a little, like, I don't know, not irritating, maybe distressing that, like, Pearl hates to eat, and she's the super skinny one, and Amethyst loves to eat, and she is clearly very thick.
Yeah. Though, Garnet is also very thick.
Yes. But, like, specifically, they're drawing attention to Amethyst, I will literally eat anything you put in my mouth, versus Pearl.
Right.
And, like, the dichotomy between their character designs is very interesting, and I don't think it was necessarily intentional.
No, because it's definitely not intentional, because this is the first time Pearl ever mentions not wanting to eat food, and previously it said that she enjoyed eating pie. So, obviously, this is just a decision they made in the moment.
It's just unfortunate, and, you know, leaves me, like, a little distressed. But, you know, it's one of those things where it's, like, it's almost certainly not done, like, with malice or anything, especially the way that the show has been treating its characters of all body types.
Right. At this point, they've shown enough that they've earned sort of a benefit of a doubt of this is just kind of a misstep in what they were thinking. Like, they were like, wouldn't it be funny if Alexandrite had to go to dinner, but one third of Alexandrite hated food and the other third loved food? Which is fundamentally a great idea.
It's very good.
Oh, Jesus, the way that Pearl explains eating at the end of the Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good.
And they don't show it as like a compulsion. Like, she's really grossed out by food, which makes sense because she's not a being that should care about food, you know? Like,
yeah.
I'm glad it doesn't necessarily come off as an eating disorder vibe to me. They're just like, yeah, she thinks food's weird. She also thinks a lot of other human shit is weird, you know?
Yeah.
Because, like, both Pearl and Amethyst seem to have a fundamental misunderstanding of what food is, just on different ends of the scale.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Also, why not just take Pearl?
Yeah, you can just be like...
Oh, I'm not hungry, thank you.
This could have been resolved by, I have some food allergies. I ate before we came.
Boom.
But, you know, that's not... Steven doesn't know how to lie to parents. Yeah. And so it would never occur to Steven. It would never occur to Pearl. And, like, Greg's Greg. Yep. So
I believe we have to talk about Greg in this situation, otherwise Shannon will throttle me.
Well, I mean, I kind of want to talk about Greg in this situation anyway, because why are you going along with this Greg? What the fuck? You're the human adult in the room. You're the one who knows about the human social norms surrounding this. So why aren't you saying anything? This is your responsibility. Like, you were so hot to trot to exercise your parental rights, like, 2 episodes ago. What the hell, Greg? 3 episodes.
I mean, Greg is definitely not, he's uncomfortable with the situation, too. He's not enthusiastic about it, but I think it also has to do with, like, Steven's worried that he's not going to get to see his friend anymore. The gyms obviously crumble anytime Steven puts pouty face on.
Yeah.
Greg probably to some degree does as well. Steven kind of gets to do whatever he wants, you know? For better or worse, that's decidedly how these parental units in his life function. But I think it also has to do with, like, in Steven Universe Future, we travel to, like, Greg's childhood home, and we get to see his parents, who had very strict had a very strict upbringing of Greg as well. I say this because I don't feel like this is necessarily a spoiler, just sort of informs the character. Also, we're like 3 years away from that being a thing, so fuck it.
Yeah, I'll probably forget by then anyway.
Exactly. And so I feel like this is maybe Greg reacting to that too, like seeing himself in this situation and what he, it's one of those things where it's like, well, my parents were really strict and mean, and I wish I would have had some like cool parent in the situation to have helped me out with my friends, Mm-hmm. So I think there's part of that. There's part of that there too. Also, just the plot doesn't happen.
Well,
so like, because if they bring attention to it, like, then you're thinking about it, then they have to figure out a way to resolve it.
Well, a different plot would have happened. Yeah. It still could have been very interesting. Like, I would have loved to see just like Pearl trying to pretend to be Greg's wife. Like, just that alone would have been a fucking plus. But anyway,
but yeah, we had a lot of conversation about this on our Discord, link in the description below, particularly between like Philo and like Shannon talking up a storm about this. And
yeah, and oh my gosh, like Shannon brought up some really good points about like Greg being the adult in the room and being being like, hey, Steven's mom's dead. He's a little embarrassed, so I think the kids tried to hide it. I'd love to meet you. Connie seems like a great kid. And, that, again, they would have had to find a different plot for the episode.
Right.
But I don't know. I still think the main arc of the episode could have worked, where it's like, maybe Greg failing to pass muster until Steven and Connie try to run off, and he puts his foot down with Steven, kind of thing. But
I think the thing is that paints the Maheshwars as like way bigger assholes. I mean, they're already big. They don't come off great in this episode to begin with.
No.
But I think because like right now they're coming off as like asshole controlling parents.
No, right now they're coming off as Connie's mother is emotionally abusive.
Yeah. Like,
flat out, she has said some shit that is emotionally abusive, and seriously, like, I am very, very upset about the end of the episode and the way Connie's mom is just like, oh yeah, I like to use this manipulation tactic to get my child to do what I want. Like, fuck off, bitch.
Yeah. For realsies.
Like, this is seriously like the most upset I've been about, like, legitimately I feel angry and like I'm just like, this is not okay. This is bullshit. Like, who thought this was okay? Who thought this was okay to put in a light where it makes it sound like this is funny?
Yeah, that's very fair. I think it's an offhanded joke that is made by a person who didn't necessarily have those experiences as a child.
Yeah, 100%. But so over on Equestria Gaze, weirdly, we talk about like child abuse and shit quite frequently. So yeah, so it's something that ends up at the top of my mind a lot when I'm watching both of these shows. And like, this is just, I'm sorry that we ended up jumping to my last note.
No worries.
But this is not okay. This is clearly something that was done by somebody who does not understand how viscerally painful and upsetting that kind of attitude can be. And that is why, like, I have in my mind a very particular view of this family now, specifically of Connie's mother, because of those comments. And I don't know if I'm supposed to not trust her at this point, or if I'm supposed to just say, oh, haha, she's just a strict person, but she means well. It's like, there's no coming back from that. This is not a character I can care about or trust anymore. Like, it's just, I can't do it. Let's go back to something that's fun, which is Alexandrite, like, walking up to the dinner. Mm-hmm. Just the stomping in the distance, getting closer and closer. Just, okay, I had the word, for that. Mm-hmm. But then Greg referred to her as this massive drink of water, and it's just like, mood, Greg.
Greg just tried to be like, just like, Shannon mentioned that this is basically the plot of the Birdcage, and it is the plot of the Birdcage. I
have never seen that movie.
You haven't seen that movie? That movie is pretty funny. So the basic plot is that, okay, hold on a second. I'll have to look up the name of the actor real quick. No, the Birdcage. No, not a parakeet, Birdcage. Oh my God, Google.
Wasn't Robin Williams in it?
Yeah. So basically the idea is that, like, the son of Robin Williams playing like a gay man in this, is getting married to this lady who has, like, very conservative Republican parents. Republican dad being played by Gene Hackman, the, like, Republican. But Robin Williams is a very flamboyant gay man married to Nathan Lane. And they are hilarious. Nathan Lane and Robin Williams just bouncing off of each other is very fun. But when the conservative parents come over, Nathan Lane basically pretends to be Robin Williams' wife, and hilarity ensues.
Oh my God.
Because I think they run a drag club anyways. So it's a lot, and I haven't watched the movie in a long time. It may be fucked. This is not me rubber stamping the Birdcage, but it is the same plot.
Fair.
And I do remember it being funny, but that was a long time ago. And it may just be funny because Nathan Lane and not Steven Universe, Jesus. Nathan Lane and Robin Williams are funny together. But yeah, Alexandra eating things is hilarious.
Oh God, yes.
I don't know why they're like Steven's very into apples this week.
I mean, like, his logic is sound. She has a lot of arms. That's a lot of arms to pick a lot of apples.
Yeah, look how big she is.
She's got this. She'd be the
ultimate apple picker, frankly.
Yeah. Although maybe he should have picked a fruit that is more traditionally harvested by hand, because I'm pretty sure apples are harvested by machines.
I mean, probably. I think they just shake the tree.
Yeah, I think they do too.
It could be some kind of artisanal apple. They do live up in New England, so.
That's true.
Which we got confirmed by Ronaldo's blog, where he talked about putting Old Bay on everything.
Oh my God.
Thank you for confirming that, Ronaldo. They live in whatever weird version of New England. Also, going back slightly, I don't understand. I need to figure out what the lore. I forgot that the lore is that the snake is like the animal of the United States in this universe.
Oh my God.
Anyways, let's see. Let me pull up my notes here.
The way that Amethyst like tries to wrest control of the Alexandrite's body so she can eat the shrimpy is kind of horrifying, but I'm into it.
I like that Amethyst it has control of a separate mouth on Alexandrite.
Yes. Oh my God, it's so good. It's so good.
I like how the way this face splits apart, like it's made out of clay. Mm-hmm. Ugh.
Oh, it's so good. I fucking
Oh,
love it.
also special shout out to Connie's adorable outfit.
I didn't notice her outfit.
Oh, it's super cute.
I was distracted by a very large
It's
woman.
fair. It's fair. Connie's wearing like pants and like a puffy kind of 80s jacket.
Aw, cute.
Yeah, it's pretty cute. Yo, fuck doctors. I hate doctors.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, Connie being a little like I realize it's like Connie being nervous and lashing out and everything like that. But it's an interesting sort of conclusion for Steven to come to because he doesn't realize Steven puts the blame for everything on himself. So of course Steven would think that Connie would be ashamed of him, you know.
Yeah.
But also, you know, it shows like a very tense and terse kind of interaction between them, which is nice.
Yeah, it's nice to see that, like, just like anybody, they can have disagreements and misunderstandings. They're not just like these perfect friends who get along forever.
Right. Why does that bus just let 2 children on? I mean, I guess it's.
Well, I mean,
why would you not let 2 children on as long as they have money? I guess that's just how public transportation works.
Yeah, and I mean, it's entirely possible that's like a semi-local bus. Like maybe it's going to the next town over, or maybe it's going back to the boardwalk or something. Like it's entirely probable that it's just regularly used by locals in general.
Yeah,
so,
for all it could just
like
be one of those weird
Greyhound.
like tram systems you find in like tourist towns that just take tourists places. Then that bus driver is attacked by a 40-foot woman with 6 arms.
Yeah.
Lucky asshole.
God. God.
I like the bit about Steven is going to lose food privileges for 1,000 years.
Jesus, yeah, that was very cute. I like how in some ways the gems continue to demonstrate their lack of understanding of like humans, human physiology, and that kind of thing. It's just, obviously they would never actually harm Steven, but it's one of those things where it's just like, what's something that humans like? Humans like food. You don't get food for 1,000 years.
And then like Pearl being like more reasonable. No, you're gonna lose TV privileges for 1,000 years.
Yes. Oh,
Which
my
is
God.
interesting. We will see going forward that Steven does stop watching television for a period of time. Like in the show, like Steven is grounded from television for a long time, and he takes up reading a lot. He starts reading books more often.
Okay.
And this will lead to a very adorable episode between he and Connie.
Aww.
So that's good. Let's see. Garnet with the moral of 2020. All comedy is derived from fear.
Yeah.
Feeling that today.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I also do love the leave room for Jesus between the two of them at the end there. Connie.
Yes, that was
Connie with the most anime looking face of getting hugged by Steven. Which
that was very
I like
cute.
that like a lot of other shows would not have flipped these gender roles of like the chaste excited hug from the boy,
It's very
Did you
good.
notice the name of the so looking at the restaurant, let me look at the fucking picture of the restaurant. It's right no. So the name of the restaurant
Isn't it like the Crab Shack?
No, it's
or
not
something?
the Crab Shack. It's Crab the Shack. Is what the sign said when they were getting on the bus.
Oh, jeez.
And I can't find a screenshot of it. I may have to take the screenshot myself. But it definitely... here it is. Yeah, it's called Crab the Shack.
Oh, my God.
With a very cute crab logo.
I just saw Crab and Shack and just put it together in the order I thought it was supposed to be, I guess.
Here's a nice wallpaper for your phone I just sent you.
Yeah.
Again, the art in the episodes continues to be great. It's just nothing like this background shot is beautiful, frankly. This like random shot of the crab the shack I just sent to August is beautiful. It's a great painting. Like it conveys so much like vibe and emotion.
The use of color is delightful.
It captures like it captures a little town like this, like a restaurant that would be in a little town like this. Like we have restaurants kind of like this, not obviously on the ocean, but like on the river here. Like, and it has that vibe to it.
Yeah.
Show's still great to look at. Also, still fun to watch. Just is having some issues.
Yeah. I don't really want to revisit the thing at the end. So,
well, I feel like we've litigated that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else not related to that as we move on?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. All right. Well, moving on to episode 33, Garnet's Universe. Much less. I don't hardly have any notes for this one. This one was written by Joe Johnston, which I imagine is a different Joe Johnston than like the recording artist.
Mm-hmm. Although with Steven Universe, you can never tell.
God, this synopsis. Prepare yourself for this. Steven imagines what Garnet does with her day.
I mean, okay, technically
not wrong.
Like that is technically not wrong, but at the same time, I feel like that misses like the entire point of the episode.
You could add some more to that. There's room.
Yeah.
Apparently the synopsis people do not get paid by the word.
Oh boy.
All right. So, the episode starts with Garnet arriving back at the temple with an unknown gem bubbled up. And she hears Steven shuffling around and laughing, and she's kind of playing into it when suddenly Steven drops from the rafter and, quote, Steven bombs her, and asks Garnet what she did with her day. Garnet asks him to tell her what he thinks that she did with his day. Steven's eyes light up, and Steven begins telling a fantastical little story about Garnet. She's in the woods. She meets... she's going through the woods, and she meets a frog named Hopper and a rabbit named Hoppy. They are basically little anime characters who are Garnet's friends. And they're like, Garnet, what are you doing here? Hopper is a samurai rabbit. No, Hoppy is a samurai rabbit. Hopper is some kind of space frog. We'll get to what they are, actually, here in a moment. Garnet's like, I'm searching for a gem artifact. I have to get back to my favorite person in the world, Steven. She holds out a picture of Steven. It's Steven. Steven's her favorite person in the world in this story. Also, maybe really. I would not doubt that is in fact a true statement about Garnet. So they begin traveling, looking for this gem artifact when they find a beat up man named Ringo, who's Ronaldo, which is with weird hair. Ringo tells the story of how he was the caretaker for a shrine that held a powerful gem, but one day a foxman came, stole the gem, gained its power, and beat the shit out of Ringo, kicked his ass off the fucking mountain. And he's like, I need help. I need strong people to help me take back the shrine. And Garnet's like, we will help you, Ringo, and I will take the gem artifact. He's like, cool, I don't give a shit. I just want my shrine. So they travel up the mountain to where they face the Foxman, who's just this big, jacked fucking anime Foxman. He is... he gets into a fight with Garnet. They trade blows, but Garnet is not powerful enough, and the Foxman knocks her off the mountain. Garnet's like, I must become more powerful. Hoppy, the samurai rabbit's like, hell yeah, training time. So they begin training, meditating under a waterfall. Garnet makes her gloves real big and begins kind of training with the gloves, but as weights, but they're too much for Garnet, and she kind of falls back, and Hoppy. Yeah, Hoppy. I keep getting their names mixed up. Comes up and is like, Garnet, you've got to remember what you're fighting for. And Garnet's like, I do have to remember what I'm fighting for. And she, like, thinks about Steven, and she becomes filled with the power of love, and she's, like, punching, and Hopper's like, oh my god, her power level. So they head back up the mountain after Garnet's leveled up. And she just, like, handily kicks Foxman's ass, punches him in the stomach, and is like, you need to give us back the gem, the power that you stole. And he's like, I didn't steal the power. I'm the actual guardian of the shrine. What did that liar tell you? And so Ringo steals the gem, takes the power of the gem, turns the Foxman into an onion ring. And Garnet's like, I will defeat you, Ringo. And Ringo is like, haha, no fucking way. And takes them to the ring dimension? Is that what it's called? Ringo Zone. The Ringo Zone. In this, Garnet takes off her weighted hair and begins to fight Ultimate Ringo. They have a whole lot of fight till Ultimate Ringo knocks her down. And she's like, I'm sorry, Steven, I wasn't strong enough. And then Ringo turns the photo into an onion ring and eats it. This causes Garnet to go fucking Super Saiyan. I mean this in a literal sense this time around. I say that a lot, but I mean this literally. She goes Super Saiyan and kicks the shit out of Ringo. They return the... they save the Foxman. Garnet takes the gem. She heads back to the temple where Steven dropped on top of her and covered her eyes and everything. And Steven's like, and that's what you did in the day. And Garnet's like, yeah, that's pretty much it. Steven's like, eyes go all starred, and he's like, really? And she's like, no. And then it just cuts to black at the end. This is the first episode without a star wipe of some kind.
Yeah.
So from what I can tell, my future knowledge, nothing plot relevant happens in this entire episode, and that's okay.
Yeah, it's a really cute episode. I deeply enjoyed this. I enjoyed this look into how Steven perceives Garnet, and what he thinks is important and cool about her, and what he thinks that she values. Or perhaps what he hopes that she values. I think he's right. I think that Steven is probably her favorite person, and that she loves him very much.
I don't think there's any doubt about that, honestly. Like, who honestly, Greg is a distant second.
Yeah.
I don't even know if Garnet cares about Greg.
Yeah. I think the only reason Garnet gives a shit about Greg is because Steven gives a shit about Greg.
The beginning of this is super cute. Garnet, I like that Garnet, even if she couldn't hear Steven giggling, obviously, like, has future vision, knows where Steven is just playing along. Yeah.
It's so cute. I love how she's like, oh no, tiny hands, my one weakness. Like, it's adorable. I don't know, I can't help but kind of think of, like lions and their cubs, and how sometimes lions will pretend to be injured to, like, boost their cubs' confidence when doing hunting play. Like, you know, it's purely about letting Steven have his fun and letting him feel accomplished.
Right, exactly. Like, it's probably why she asks him to begin with. Like, hey, tell me, like, just letting him have fun and do a thing, because she knows he loves to tell stories and stuff like that.
Yeah. I love the art style change for when Steven is narrating what he thinks her day was like.
Yeah, it's interesting because they kind of adopt a similar art style for the video games. It's kind of a mix between, like, the art style that they use for, like, when a shot is far away and this, the, like, Save the Light games. Mm-hmm. Right? Let me look at the Save the Light game, so I'm know what I'm looking at. Yeah, it's got kind of the same vibe. The eyes are a little bit different, but well, Garnet's almost exactly the same. I forgot the R. Garnet doesn't have eyes. I'm like, yeah, they have the weird swirly eyes, but Garnet doesn't, because Garnet doesn't have eyes. But yeah. So yeah, they kind of use the same general art style for their video game, which is fun.
Yeah, that's cute.
Did you like the voice actors for Hoppy and Hopper?
Yeah, sorry, I banged my mic, so I was waiting for the waveform to stabilize before I answered. Yeah, I was listening for a second, and then I wrote down, are those Pearl and Amethyst voice actors just, like, swapped on the character archetypes?
Yes. Dee Dee is doing such a different line read than her usual by comparison to the, oh, crap, who's our Amethyst's voice actor? Bleh. Michaela. Michaela Dietz? Yeah, Michaela Dietz. Right? That's Michaela. You pronounce this Michaela, right?
I would pronounce it Michaela.
Okay. But yeah, Michaela Dietz, Dee Dee is doing, like, a much different line read than her usual line read. It's easier to tell with Michaela, because Michaela doesn't, like, modulate her voice as aggressively. But Dee Dee knows exactly what she's fucking going for with that voice read.
Yeah.
So, Hopper's that frog from Chrono Trigger, right?
I don't know, because, like, Frog is a very knightly character, from what I recall.
I'm talking about,
so
like,
I don't...
look-wise.
No, I get more Keropy vibes off of Hopper. Keropy. I don't remember if it's two P's or one P. Yeah.
Yeah, but, like, kind of, if like, I get what you're saying. It's kind of like, what if wait, is there a frog member of the Ginyu Force?
I don't think so.
There is. There's kind of a frog-shaped guy. He's way different looking. Yeah, because she's got kind of Saiyan armor. Hopper does.
Yeah.
I don't know. I got Chrono Trigger vibes from Hopper. Mostly because that's just where my brain went initially. Hoppy is Usagi Yojimbo.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
So I promised you my Usagi Yojimbo story. So when I was a child, I very much liked... I liked the Ninja Turtles, but I never watched... I cannot tell you a single episode of the Ninja Turtles. I just loved the toys. Not like the normal Ninja Turtles. I just loved all the weird ones. It may be... That affinity may be born out of being a poor kid and all of the weird ones ending up in the bargain bin. So those are the only ones that I had. But to this day, I only buy weird variants of action figures. But I also really, really liked Usagi Yojimbo, whose name I could not pronounce. And they had at the time, they had just issued a toy of Usagi Yojimbo. Actually, I don't know if they had just issued the toy. I had seen the toy. So we were in the mall, and I do this to this day. If you go to a store with me and you turn away from me at any point in time, I'm gonna get distracted and wander off. It's just
tracks.
It's less scary now because I'm an adult with a cell phone. But I just wander off because I get distracted. I want to go look at something. Where the fuck am I gonna go? I'm in the store, right? So
Lord.
So we were in the mall. I've done this since I was a child, though. And when I was like 6 years old, it's a lot scarier when I just disappear. So we're in the mall, and my mother is purchasing, you know, those little leashes you put on kids?
Yes, my parents had one for me that had Big Bird on it, which was how I tolerated it because I liked wearing Big Bird.
The one my mother was getting me just went around our wrists, so it was like my mother was handcuffing us to her.
Yeah, no, that's the kind I had, but it had a Big Bird head on it. Like, you know, it just had like a big puffball with like a felt beak on it and googly eyes, and it was Big Bird.
Interesting. Mine was very plain, I think. I don't know. We were in the store, my mother was purchasing them. She put one on my brother, turned around, I'm gone. And so I had wandered like 3 stores down to the toy store because I wanted this fucking samurai rabbit, motherfucker. And so they looked for me for like 30 minutes. And then I don't know why they didn't just immediately go to the toy store. But, you know, whatever. My mother was panicking, justifiably so, because I had wandered the fuck off. And it was just because I wanted the samurai rabbit. My mother was very relieved when she found me and bought me the samurai rabbit. I'm sure I still have it somewhere. The only one of those Ninja Turtles I lost was the mummy Raphael that I accidentally melted.
Oh, no.
Well, it was like a glow-in-the-dark one, and I put it on the light bulb to charge it, not being a child and not understanding, like, incandescent bulbs generate a bajillion degrees of heat. And I melted the Ninja Turtle to the light bulb, so. So yeah, there we go. I like Yosagi Yojimbo.
That's fair.
Yep. I love that they just put... Obviously, like, I love... This is, like, just fucking them being, like, the most anime that they possibly can be. They're, like... They wrote them a check. They're, like, you get 1 episode where you can be weeboos.
Yeah.
And they just were, like... They just cashed their golden ticket on this episode.
Yeah, it's very good. My next note is, well, okay, first of all, it's just like the whole onion thing, like magical onion or ancient onion or something like that.
Power onion.
Yeah, Jesus. But, is this Journey to the West? I feel like this is Journey to the West.
Maybe, but also lots of things are Journey to the West.
Yeah, that's very true. Oop, sorry.
No worries. Also, a thing I love about this is it feels like, even though there is no overarching narrator, the way that the episode is written, the way everybody talks, the way the action happens, feels like Steven telling the story.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
It's really good. I like that Garden's like, no, Steven's not ready to know that I have animal friends. Steven, who has an animal friend. Let's see. What was I actually have, like, hardly any notes for this. So...
Yeah, I noticed
I love that the Foxman is Glars.
Yes, and also the Fox is on Tumblr. Like, that's 100% the mobile Tumblr dash at the time.
What?
Wait. It looks like the Tumblr dash. Wait, when did Tumblr start? Tumblr had to have started by the time Steven Universe started.
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah, no, so the Foxman is scrolling on his phone mindlessly, and that looks like the fucking mobile Tumblr dash.
Oh! I thought you meant the Foxman was on the physical Tumblr was like some kind of reference to Tumblr.
No.
I'm like, I know that, like, I'm like, I don't think Tumblr ever embraced furries that hard.
No.
Like,
but yeah, so
okay, yes, he's on Tumblr. Yeah, okay. I'm sorry, I was like, what? But But yeah, he's definitely on Tumblr, which makes sense, frankly, for the Crudiverse, because they would also be like heavily on Tumblr.
And also Lars is a shitty trans teenage boy being on Tumblr tracks.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Oh.
Steven's seen Lars looking at Tumblr.
Yeah. 100%. Garnet with her jumpsuit tied around her waist is a lot. It's very good.
The way the animation shifts in the training montage to be more detailed,
it's so good
and interesting, is like, yes, a show written by a bunch of queers.
It's so good.
Her power level's going up by 10 every bunch.
God.
And then I love how the tablet breaks and then reforms because Steven forgot that he broke the tablet earlier in the story. Like, because that's why it comes back, like, as the joke. Like, I'm like, this episode is great, just, like, them just, like, stunting on motherfuckers. Like, you think some of our other episodes are filler? We're gonna give you the best written filler episode of any show. Except for the time that Goku learned how to drive. Second best episode of filler.
It's very good. Oh my gosh.
The
weighted hair. The fucking weighted hair. Oh my god. Jesus Christ.
I love weighted clothing as a fucking anime trope. Because, like, obviously Dragon Ball Z, right? But, like, my favorite, honestly, I think my favorite instance of it is, like, Rock Lee and fucking Naruto. Because, like, it starts off as a joke, and then he fucking, like, they're making a reference to Dragon Ball Z, and then they turn it into this, like, oh, wait, no, for real. Rock Lee becomes a goddamn nightmare when he takes off his, like, 800-pound clothing.
Listen, Rock Lee's a good character, and I will hear nothing to the contrary.
I'm not saying Rock Lee's a bad character. I'm just saying that's maybe my favorite instance of, like, the weighted clothing trope.
Yeah.
Mostly because that fight scene is also dope as fuck.
It's so sick. Yeah. Oh my god, it's so good. I can't go back to my Naruto days. We have to move on.
I just wish Naruto was I'm gonna get heat for this, but I wish Naruto was a better show.
Yeah,
I wish I liked Naruto. Like, if I had been the age I watched Dragon Ball Z at when Naruto came out, obviously I would be all fucking about Naruto. Because there's, structurally speaking, Naruto's very similar.
Yes.
Obviously, because Naruto's a shonen action show, and Dragon Ball Z is literally the shonen action show.
Yeah.
But I can go back, and maybe nostalgia that allows me to go back and watch Dragon Ball Z, but I don't necessarily think that it uses its structure as well as DBZ does, and so it's less compelling for me to watch.
So there are a couple of problems here. The first problem is the show caught up with the manga really early on.
Right.
And it kept catching up, so they had, like, huge swaths of filler to allow for the manga to get ahead again. In its defense, Dragon Ball Z does the same thing. I'm pretty sure I looked it up, and I think Naruto did it more frequently.
Almost certainly, because Toriyama wrote like a fucking machine.
Yeah. The other problem is Kishimoto just wrote a bunch of checks he could not cash. There is a lot of interesting setup that he did that he fell completely flat on the execution with, which just makes it very disappointing because the stuff that was set up, especially with a lot of the character stuff and the world building, was so fucking choice. And then he had to fall flat on his face using a bunch of really tired old tropes to try to figure out where to go from there.
Right. And it's like, it doesn't tell quite like the super tight, because like Dragon Ball Z has like really tight arcs that kind of flow into each other from broad story standpoints. And usually the filler comes between those big tight arcs. So you can kind of watch the tight arc, skip the filler, go to another tight arc. Because frankly, that's probably what a lot of people who watch Dragon Ball Z did when you watched it on like DVD or tape, or when you torrent it or whatever. You watch the Saiyan arc, and then into the Frieza arc, and then into the the androids and Cell arc, and you can kind of skip the shit that happened in between those. Because once they hit Namek, it's not like the fucking gas pedal never lets off. But yeah, like Naruto did the modern anime thing where they just splice in the fucking filler episodes in the middle of the storyline, which grinds your storytelling to a halt. Mm-hmm. So yeah. I guess this is our hot takes about Naruto and Dragon Ball Z.
Listen, from
two 30-year-old gays. Like,
I really wish that there were a good shonen anime that had like a lot of good lady characters who didn't get sidelined and like was gay. I want Dragon Ball Z, but Goku and Vegeta are ladies who kiss. I want Mob Psycho, but Mob is a trans girl. Like, give me this shit, please. I'm begging you.
If you have good suggestions for, like, a shonen anime that does this, or is a good shonen anime, frankly, in the broadest sense of the word anime.
Yes.
Give us that thing.
Please.
Also go watch or go listen to the podcast. It's Wrapped Up. Never Believe It. It's Riley Hopkins's podcast where they review only the filler episodes of Naruto.
Oh my god.
It's like a Dadaist audio collage.
God, that sounds fucking amazing.
So yeah. So yeah, the rest of this episode happens. The weighted hair, Garnet going Super Saiyan and getting new hair. It's very good.
It's so good. Like,
this is a good episode. Nothing happens in it, but it's a good episode.
It's good. It's cute. It's pure. It's a fun look into how Steven perceives one of his moms. It's just, oh my gosh. I love it.
I do find it weird they don't end on a star wipe.
Yeah, that is really weird.
Maybe it's because they're they're staying with the anime aesthetic.
Yeah.
Could be. Because, you know what? I bet it's like a cut to Black Cowboy Bebop reference.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, that's probably what's going on there.
Yeah.
Or some kind of similar. I'm sure other anime do that, but Cowboy Bebop's the one that jumps to my head.
Yeah, that's all I got. It's a cute fucking episode. I enjoyed that. Like, fuck off people who don't enjoy this episode. It's adorable.
So you know that Korean symbol that appears in the background while Garnet's training?
Mm-hmm.
It apparently translates to beautiful or beautiful woman.
Oh my god. I mean, it's not wrong. Like, the Crewniverse knows what they're about, I guess.
Mm-hmm. I also liked how when the Steven narration at the end happened, it's just Zach using his regular voice.
Yeah. I did notice that, too. And then
immediately jumping up to be Steven again.
Mm-hmm.
Cultural references. Hopper resembles Frog from Chrono Trigger. The wiki vindicates me.
Okay. Like, that's just not a pull I would have had. But I guess it's just because of, like, that's not the character archetype I associate with Frog necessarily. Yeah, that's true. So,
it's also not really, like, the calm, collected thing is not actually Usagi Yojimbo either.
Yeah.
But that's a less known character. Apparently, the ending of the episode, like the cut to black thing, resembles the ending of Pokemon. Anime, which makes more sense, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, that's it. Next week, whatever, fuck it. Next week, we'll have a guest, hopefully. We'll see. But next week we will be covering episodes 34, 35, and 36. Watermelon Steven, Lion 3 Straight to Video, and Warped Tour. Get prepared to cry next week, y'all.
Oh boy.
Lion 3 Straight to Video will make me cry. I don't know about you, but it makes me cry. Also, we get to see an evolution of Steven's powers. And we get our first hints at the coming doom. Peace.
Fun times.
Fun fucking times, yo. As we continue to barrel toward the end of this season. Alrighty. Well, I guess that is it.
Yeah.
Who did our outro last time? It was me, so it's you this time. Yep.
All right. Okay, I almost said all right, every pony, but I know you'd kill me, so I didn't actually do it, but I thought about it really hard. All right, everybody, remember, be like Cookie Cat and leave your family behind. Peace.